All right, thank you very much. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of council, September 17th, 2025. We're starting about a minute late. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We have one member of the public present who's waived the requirement to read the notice about live streaming. We have all members of council present except for Heather Sadkowski. Councillor Sadkowski couldn't be with us. And additions to the agenda, do we have any?
I have one under in camera personnel.
On camera for personnel. I did receive an update on the fire situation today, and I think I was the only member present, so I'll just add that, a brief update on fire. Is there anything else?
No, we had our audit meeting at the same time.
So we had your audit meeting. And we'll be dealing with the financial statements. Okay, none. So with these additions, unless there are any objections, the agenda is adopted as is with these changes. Any disclosures of conflict of interest for this meeting? None. And if there are no changes to the council minutes of July 16th, 2025, they're approved by unanimous consent. And if there are no changes to the special council minutes of August 7th, 2025, they're also approved by unanimous consent. I'll acknowledge we have one member of the public present in the room, Sarah Lindella. Thank you for being here. And I don't know who's online, but I believe we have our auditors here. We have, of course, we have our Director of Finance, Melanie Robinson. So thank you. So for presentations, we move over to the audited financial statements, and Melanie and Andy, guess we'll ask you to take that away.
Okay. Andy, Andy did a presentation at our audit committee at 4 o'clock that ended not long ago. And at that time, we went over everything and it was recommended to adopt or to approve the financial statements as presented by Andy. If you have any questions for Andy, now would be the time to ask him.
All right, we'll go around the table. Are there any questions to Andy?
No, it was clear. Very clear.
Yeah, I do have one question for Andy. So Andy, our time or our knowledge of how condominium corporations is kind of limited. We have ownership in a condo corporation. We understand there's a $50,000 income threshold or expenditure threshold for municipalities that would apply to anyway, we don't know the ins and outs of it. We're probably not in time for this audit, but it's certainly a question that we have is what is our responsibility around condo corporation with respect to HST obligations. And you don't have to answer that here. We spent a lot of time just reading stuff, but any comments?
I do know I did receive an email yesterday asking me for comments, and I absolutely will review all the information provided and then offer my opinion. We do a number of the condo audits ourselves, not that one specifically, but other ones. So we're pretty well versed with the HST and other areas of them. So I will provide probably a little bit of a letter that will come to you probably within the next week or so, if that's okay. I did want to focus my time on the audit first. And since I won't talk long, because people at the audit committee meeting will know I think I talked for 55 minutes consecutively. So no one wants that. I know no one wants that. However, I would like to just point out that some of the highlights that we've talked about of the audit were the really incredible financial position that the town of Annapolis is in. You've got assets on your balance sheet that would be, several times more than all your liabilities, like your long-term debt versus your asset is like, I don't know, 1 to 8 or 1 to 9. I don't see that very often. You've got more cash in the bank than you do long-term debt by a very significant amount, 7.51 ratio approximately. So I really was just commenting before about how sort of flabbergasted I was when I first looked at because this is my first time here on the audit. I almost didn't believe that the results were right from the year before with long-term debt. I assumed there must have been something missing just because I don't see net asset position that strong very often. And I do quite a few municipal audits. So I just wanted to echo what we talked about and 2 hours ago about how wonderful the town of Annapolis is positioned financially, and quite clearly to have the results that you have this year and in prior years shows a tremendous financial management process. And so your staff have been wonderful. I know that much as well, but I also know that the results don't get that strong without really good oversight from council. And one of my comments that I made this afternoon was one of the key controls, because you don't have a very large staff base like for finance. It's impossible. Like no one does. That's not a complaint. That's just reality. And for me to see the type of financial management I did throughout this audit, it just testifies to how strong every level of the organization has performed, and it continues to perform. So I really wanted to mention that to the public, because financial stewardship is critical. And you receive taxpayer money, and what you do with it is everything. And quite clearly that the financial management process through the town of Annapolis has been first rate. You know, hats off to you. And we did offer a clean audit report. I hate to say the word unqualified. That's the technical term because it makes me sound like a dum-dum. But unqualified means I have no qualifications about the fact that your statements are presented fairly and are accurate and complete, and that nothing that is missing or incorrect would change anyone's opinion of those financial statements. So it's a clean audit report, and staff were tremendously helpful. And it was a really pleasure to work on the audit and to see the results of the town of Annapolis and see how well you're all doing, and the results speak for themselves. So thank you.
Well, I have a few comments, but I want to send it around the table first. So Adele, any comments?
No questions. I just thank you for your efforts on this, and it's actually really nice to hear what you have to say about the work that's being done by the administration for the town of Annapolis Royal and by, you know, this council and previous councils. It's just really nice to hear that, and I appreciate those comments. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Melanie for taking us through a really clear budget meetings with her and helping a brand new council understand the workings in the town of a complex budget that we're not used to dealing with, and for Andy guiding us through today and helping us understand where we stand. And that's a really good indicator that when we receive that report a year from now, the kind of the health report, did you say it comes in a year, Andy?
Financial indicators.
Yeah, the financial indicator.
Yeah, hopefully, I know they made some changes to the report recently when there was new standards that came out for public sector. So I think the most recent one might have even been 2 years.
It was.
Or close to 2 years, yeah. But the hope would be now that going forward, it would be within 1 year. So the due date to submit those is September 30th every year. I have no doubt that Melanie would have that in on time. A lot of places don't. So I think realistically early next calendar year, like probably early 2026 is what I hope. It's a province thing, not an auditor thing, but the province would have them out sometime maybe January, February, fingers crossed. But yeah, it's a great report. Please review it when it comes out, because it does provide some really good information about how you are performing to standards and how you're performing against your peers as well. So it's a great benchmark and measure to see how well you're doing in all those categories.
Thank you, Andy. I don't think I have anything to add. I'm super pleased with the quality of the work that goes into making us so fiscally responsible. Thanks to Melanie and
and Sandy and the rest of the staff.
And thank you too for mentioning staff because they certainly are on deadlines and ahead of the game for us. And I appreciate Councillor McDonald's comments that this is the work of successive councils and administrations. Because a lot of this work is because of what may happen at the causeway. The fact that we'll be losing a grant in lieu, or we expect to lose a grant in lieu. So a lot of this has been defensive action by successive councils to try to deal with a potential shortfall of maybe 15% of revenues. So the reason I think you see a lot of this, it's a lot of defensive work has been done over the years to prepare for worst case. So on that note, I want to thank you for your work, Andy. And really, really want to thank Melanie because she is always honest about, any audit recommendations. I think the worst thing we did last year was not picking up on unsigned checks or something like that, which all of us are being on notice all year. That's not to happen once this year. So I'd like to thank you both. Thank you for the results. We're not out of the woods, but we know that, but it's good to hear something encouraging on the financial front. So thank you very much. So, and I gather Melanie's staying with us? Or not?
Are you Melanie?
I'll just stay
No.
until we get to the new
No
business
need
item
to.
number 1.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Andy, for joining us. Really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Andy.
Okay, so, yes. Okay, any public input? We do have a member of the public present. Okay. On the note about public input, I'll just use this little occasion to remind everybody, we all know that our town crier is headed off for competition this week. So we're all very proud of her as she travels to New Glasgow and we wish her well. Everybody will be thinking about her. So for new business, you have the audited financial statements at tab 3. I think everything's been said, so we just need the motion.
I move that council accept the 2024-2025 financial statements as prepared and presented by the auditors.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
Have
a good evening.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Thanks, Andy.
congratulations. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And we have more good news at tab 4, right?
Yes, so we received our statements for the 2026 WCB rates. And we are
In a merit position.
finally, yes, again.
Yes. Which is great. Well, that's very good news. No accidents, no.
16. What was the position for last year? Am I missing it?
It's a 3-year rolling average.
Is it?
isn't
Okay,
Yeah. And I can't recall what that was,
it's okay.
but we can get that information. That's the good thing. So we will get that information for Councillor McDowell. All right, on to the Joint Housing Working Group.
So we had a meeting with the County of Annapolis and decided that we would start a working group. Looking for 2 members of council who would like to sit on it. I did reach out to Mr. Young to ask if he had any idea of the days and times that the meetings would be. I have heard no response from him to date. But CAO Frost started Monday, not yesterday, Monday. And I have a meeting with him on Friday, so I can see where that stands. But I know Councilor McDonald is interested in sitting on it, so I just need 1 more, but I know we'll see when the times and dates, so
Right.
I'll just get back to you on that. So do you want to appoint Councilor McDonald today so that if we have a meeting that we can at least?
Yeah.
Well, that will show some progress. I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea. Everybody else? That starts us on the path. So motion,
I move that council appoint Councillor Adele McDonald, not Madonna, to join the joint housing working group for the town of Annapolis Royal for the term ending December 31st, 2026.
I will second that.
so represent the town of Annapolis Royal on this working group of the county. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried, wonderful. Thank you. Oh yes, on to NSFM, so NSFM are calling for, people again to, either be nominated or nominate themselves for the Valley Community Representative. Our representative has been Councillor McDonald, who's represented as well. We've had information that would not otherwise have come in. So in terms of interest in Councillor Adele McDonald did indicate that she would continue, that she
It could.
could continue, right? And I said that I would be willing to put my name in because of policing issues and other things that are heating up. The more powerful mayor thing seems to have calmed down, but there's other things.
For now.
Yeah, and usually I'm not a conference goer or whatever for an SFM, but I thought in this case I would do that. But anyway, so it's up for discussion among us what we want to do. And of course, there could be people from anywhere in the valley, exactly, so we don't know who will be in the running, so what says that?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have somebody who can speak up about the police topics right now, because, I know this may not happen for several years, but there are assumptions in the report, assumptions made on the basis of the data in the report that are not reflective of what happens with policing in smaller communities, and we need a strong voice that can represent that. And I think Adele has conflict of interest limitations there. You also are part of the intimately involved in the policing in the town.
Well, I'm certainly willing to get the paperwork in and see what happens if that's acceptable to people.
If I may speak to, I, just to be clear, absolutely support Mayor Boyer putting her name forward. It's been a really great experience, and I do think that there's tremendous value in participating in NSFM in an active way. And I would just note that while this position is one of two Annapolis Valley representatives, there's actually a lot of committee work that's available on NSFM as well, and it doesn't require you to be on the board for others that may be interested in any of the key issues that they deal with, including some of the other advocacy issues. So in addition to that, the idea I think is fabulous to have you put your name forward. And yes, it is a vote for all of the Annapolis Valley elected officials who vote on who represents them. But definitely, I think it's an excellent thing to have your name forward. But I would encourage others of us to think about the committee opportunities. I know it can be hard because we already have a lot of commitments, but there's the odd thing that comes forward from them that I think is really worth thinking about and considering whether or not we can be involved, because they are our elected official advocacy organization. And I think it's really important to take advantage of that. And the policy analysts that they have on staff are exceptional. So I think that's the other thing, we can avail ourselves of that service as well.
And it's 1 year, we can really evaluate where we are.
It's 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
I was only on 1 year because I was
Right,
picking up the
you came in on
seat
it.
from someone who was not reelected, so yeah.
So 2 years and then we'll reevaluate again, so, okay, all right. Okay,
So I did have a draft motion, just so we had something that we want.
I'll make that motion. I move that council support Mayor Emery Boyer as the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Valley Community Representative nominee. I just add
I'll
nominee to
second that
that.
motion.
all in favor? I guess
Aye.
I'm the conflict. Okay. Anyway, thank you, we'll do our best, and that's a good point on the committees. The more we can involve, more of us.
Yeah.
on committee work, the better, so I will certainly bring that back. Okay, wanted to give you a brief update on the fire situation, just because normally there's 2 or 3 of us, or 4 sometimes on a call, between Sandy, the deputy mayor, Lynn, yourself and I. So today, there was a regular briefing at 4 o'clock. So the fire is 85 square kilometers. That is the size of it. The focus is on hot spots. There are 6 or more extremely hot spots. The concern is what's smoldering 60 feet below ground.
Wow, 60 feet.
The incident command post is back to where it is, so it's worrisome for them. There's caution due to lack of moisture for the next 2 weeks. They're also tracking hurricanes or going into hurricane season. There's been some decrease in equipment, however, there's 7 water tankers. There's de-icing equipment, I don't know why. 45 DNR people, 17 people from Quebec, 19 from somewhere.
The planes,
That, yes,
the icing of this
Yeah.
time of year.
they have 4 smaller water bombers from Northwest Territories. And was concern from people because we're seeing flying in areas not near the fire. And the reason is they have to get their training hours in. The longer you leave these planes on the ground, apparently the more maintenance issues they have. So they're trying to quell public concern, so. Food is still being catered. The comfort station is moving from the fire hall right down to Bridgetown Curling Club. It'll operate from 12 PM to 7 PM. The navigator will be there from time to time. Washer and dryer's been installed. They no longer have the Nova Scotia Guard after today, but if needed, they will call them in. They're, actually, the county is, providing water sample kits to anybody who wants them on a voluntary basis, not mandatory, but it's a helpful step. And they'll be handing them out at Nicktow Fire Hall, September 23rd and 30th. The county website has FAQs, but the county's not putting itself out as a water expert. Garbage collection is a huge issue. Refrigerators and deep freeze do require special handling. Site visits start for tomorrow for people with lost or damaged properties. There's an issue now because permanent residents are being allowed in to review properties, but not seasonal residents. So they're trying to sort that out with DNR, because DNR governs all of this. Their argument, the county's argument is if it's safe for primary residents, why not for seasonal? And
Yeah.
Don is working with the province. They're getting large donations of water, Tim Hortons, Sobeys, and apparently Salvation Army is launching a fridge program. So I won't give the details, but there's a program to be announced tomorrow. And all of this is kind of bridge help, fridges, gift cards for groceries, things like that. And DNR is trying to see when they can do another reentry, but it won't be on this Monday. They doubt very much it'll be anything this week. So that's the debriefing from today. There you go.
They've stood down the volunteer fire departments.
Sorry,
They have stood down the volunteer fire.
they stood them down.
I will just add though, there is a fundraiser this Friday at the O
Okay.
for, I'm not sure, is it for,
I think they're doing it through Westell Housing, if it's related to the one that was just done, where they collected money. That
Yeah.
money all went to Westell Housing, which is being dispersed to
through
the evacuees and the
Evacuees.
people who have lost.
the, yeah, so there's music at the O this Friday, as a fundraiser for the group.
Okay, that's this Friday. Great, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Anything else related to the fire?
I will just say the last Friday, the last summer music at the O concert series, they did a collection, a bucket collection for in support of the residents of Westell Housing and area. And I believe it was $410.05.
Well, that's awesome. Anything like that is great. And the little event, the little pop-up event brought in about 400.
Yeah.
That was mostly the dance group. And
Yeah.
it was lovely.
The rain dance.
No, it was a rain themed event. Darlene was very careful of that. But the lovely thing was Darlene from Trans World composed, she did this whole line dance on the progress of the fire, the story of the fire.
Wow.
So she was inspired by the Hawaiian storytelling with hands and feet, but she restricted herself to feet with this. But it was, she wrote out the story. It was a simple dance. If I could learn it, anybody could learn it. And I did, and it was lots of fun. So that's lovely. And the Baptist Church did a fundraiser too, so there's 800 between those two.
Yeah.
And they had a yard sale, and instead of taking money, or instead of pricing things, they said donations for
Oh, nice.
the evacuees, and they raised 1,600.
Nice.
An unmarked yard sale.
That's nice.
And I helped with the packing up one night, and there was tons of stuff still left that was going to the Salvation Army.
Nice.
Anyway, so it's lovely. So another fundraiser this Friday. Thank you for that. I don't think we had any unfinished business. That's rare. Has that ever happened before? Anyway, we do that. So we're able to move on to recommendations. So who would like to start?
You just want me to make the first motion? Okay. I recommend, that council approve the low income tax policy number 2025-12 dated September 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
The next one, okay. I move that council approve the tax collection policy number 2025-15 dated September 2025.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Do you want me to do the next one or?
No, that,
Oh, sorry, yeah, I was.
never mind. No, it goes to me first.
Yes, that's right.
That council approve the human resources procedures and policy number 2025-13 dated September 2025.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Now,
Now, I move that council approve the pension policy number 2015-14 dated September 2025.
I will second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. On to planning and heritage.
I move that council gives the applicant at 154 St. George Street heritage approval to add an accessory structure, a garage, at the rear of the property as detailed in application 25-20-EGR, providing the requirements of the land use bylaw are met.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Lovely. So you have my report from tab 10. Any questions? Okay,
No.
and we'll move on from that to our CAO report.
So mine is for the 2 months as well. Just would like to let everybody know that Melanie and I are attending the AMANS conference next week. I leave Monday, she will leave on Tuesday. I have a meeting with CEO Frost on Friday just to have a chat about our working relationships on the different agreements and projects that we have going. I attended the Terry Fox Walk. And I'd like to thank Public Works for their quick response on the water failure on Riverview Drive. Good thing that we had all the parts and everything on
Yeah.
hand and were able to fix the break by noon, that they had their water back on.
Wonderful.
Ken has also been working with the ECC at the county. He's there again. He was there Monday. He'll be back on Thursday this week. And I would,
Emergency measures. The emergency measures office.
yes.
Center.
And would also like to thank it as well as Melanie, but Mel and Donna for all the work they as well do with the audits.
Yes,
It's a whole team
absolutely.
effort, so
And the team effort sure shows.
yes.
Mhm.
And did anybody have any questions on my report?
I just have one. I just, you mentioned that the tower has been installed for the LCDC and working on the wiring, on wiring town hall, so when the antenna is ready to be installed, it can be connected. I'm trying, I couldn't quite remember, but once that's connected and everything's worked out and all, and we're satisfied that everything's operating the way it's supposed to be, is that when the next stage starts to happen for the first round of invites for the community? Or-
Correct.
Okay.
So I had my LCDC meeting last week and asked that when do you think people will be able to start signing up? He said that we could take names and addresses now,
Mm.
so they can't climb the tower in November. It gets too cold and too frosty.
Yeah,
So everything has to be up and running by the end of October.
or it has to wait until,
It has to wait. The trench was dug today for the power, so that it's coming along, waiting for something to get galvanized that goes up the tower or something, I don't know what. But it looks like, sounds like everything is on track. So if anybody's interested, they can contact town hall with their name and civic address and contact. And then what will happen is somebody from LCDC will go to their resident to see if you have a good
Line of sight.
good line of sight, so.
So will we be putting, like, will the town be putting, beyond what we're talking about here today, will the town be putting out that notice of information somehow?
In the town.
Yes,
crier.
in the town crier. So we've been, in the town crier, we've had little notes saying
Yeah.
that's coming,
Yeah.
and then I found out like it's now.
It's coming.
So it all depends on if you have that line of sight, so they're putting 3 antennas on the clock tower here, and every antenna has 180-degree span. So they're thinking that it should have a good range down here. And then the tower at the sewage treatment also will have the 3 antennas. And so we're thinking that we should cover most of the town with a good line of sight, but not sure.
Yeah.
But that's why
Yeah,
someone will go to the civic to make sure before we sign anybody up.
yes, that makes sense.
And of course, this is a cooperative,
Yeah,
so it's not the town's
no,
internet, it's LCDC. And everything will go through
and we all
Lawrence
become
Town.
members of the cooperative and we buy into the internet that they provide. Yes.
So now we have a condo and a co-op. Whoa,
Who would have thought?
soon there'll be a railway or light railers, I don't know.
Co-ops are the wave of the future for rural communities, because big business isn't willing to serve us. So,
Yeah,
we have to do it ourselves.
exactly, yeah, we have to figure out a way on our.
And thank you, Lawrencetown.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Lots of work,
Yes.
so.
Lovely partnership
Yeah.
there. It started over healthcare, and look what it evolved to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that meeting, I was like, what are you doing? Well, what you can be my ORDC? Oh. You just keep talking, I'm just.
Yeah.
Yes,
You do all these things, wonderful. Thank you, Sandy.
And then we have the planning services report that you all received. Any questions about that? And the water report, which is now big enough for me to read. I really appreciate that, special service. The Valley Regional Services Board of Directors meeting was this morning. If I don't have a
Yeah.
specific report, you'll get something on King's Transit and Valley Ways.
Did you wanna give them an update on King's Transit?
Why don't you give it on King's Transit?
I can't remember what it's called.
The
They changed the name
Yeah.
of King's Transit.
Tidal Transit.
Titled,
Yeah.
yes, Titled Transit.
Title?
Title.
Like TIDAL.
Water, yes.
Water, title.
Sounds like they're gonna use.
So we can't
surfboards.
vote on their stuff because we're not technically a member.
Okay.
So I can comment on things and reports that I see, but I can't vote on anything, as far as I understand the intermunicipal agreement.
Yeah.
The other thing that came up to today, which was interesting, was there was some discussion that came up from one mayor about whether special resolutions required for King's Transit or Valley Ways to assist in an emergency, like the fire emergency that we called on. So there was some confusion around, well, wait a minute, Remo operates with a lot of frameworks. Anyway, I just brought it up at the Remo briefing that this was discussed.
Yeah.
I have no idea because I didn't have the intermunicipal agreement in front of me, but I know we've signed a gazillion mutual aid agreements and all kinds of side
Yeah.
agreements through Remo. So I alerted them that there was this question, that was discussed. And it was just a very confusing thing, like, do you need a special resolution to help somebody in a crisis? So I'm not sure about the paperwork, but I know with us, we're under all kinds of, we know what we have to do. But maybe it is a gray area for the regional services, anyway.
No, it's in the recent contract that we just signed, the recent agreement that we just signed, saying that there is and has to be a special resolution to move forward with anything, because they didn't want the group to be paying for someone's emergency, that the group should pay for it themselves. So if Annapolis Royal was having an emergency and we needed to hire Valley
Transit
Waste or
services,
transit
yeah.
the service and come, then the taxpayers or the people from Wolfville shouldn't have to pay for that under
Yeah,
our
especially
service.
because lots of times there's federal or provincial funding.
And
Yeah.
that's where it comes in,
Yeah.
so that's like,
Because
they're
the
not.
province
worried
could
about-
enact that and say, we wanna hire the
Ex-
transit services to give buses to take people or move them where they need to be.
Right, and so we have the MOUs with King's Transit and Valley Waste, but
Mhm.
when it comes down to dollars and cents, the special resolution in our new contract that we just did is in there.
Mhm.
Another example is because Digby is now in for King's Transit. So, and they always give out free bus services during Christmas and special events. So that's not fair to
Yeah. you have to
Annapolis
pay for-
County, so they have to pay for those wages that are lost that day to have their free service.
Yeah.
So those are those special agreements that were all included in the most recent agreement.
So does there have to be a declaration of an emergency for us to enact special services from Valley Waste?
So you have to have a state of emergency to enact your Reno,
Right.
and then that would
Then they
trigger.
would trigger the province to support.
No, the province just doesn't support you if you have enacted an emergency. There's other
To request
qualifications and
this.
this.
Yeah.
Because when we had our water emergency, when the water tank
Mhm.
went and we had no water, I requested that the province pay for water for our residents and they refused.
Okay.
So there is confusion, because Brian Ward, was at the meeting and didn't seem to think it was an issue, so that's great. So we can refer that over to the CAO so they clarify it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Good.
it's all there in the agreement.
Good.
I just need to, and then the change of CAO there as well, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
That is good. All right. Anything, so on Board of Police Commissioners, you saw the report. There was one thing about the Board of Police Commissioners. I think there's going to be a real need to coordinate the response to the police review with town council.
Yes.
And I know they didn't mention that, but the problem, as I see it right now, is you've got this association of police, this federal association, saying all kinds of things, but doesn't include anything but municipal share.
That's
Like,
right.
so they are off doing one thing. We have this Board of Police Commissioners group. We have NSFM. We have 11 municipal units with police, and we're working hard with David Mitchell for another meeting of the units.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
And then there's the Nova Scotia.
I think that
Police
the intent
Authority
though
Board.
Yeah.
of this was not to, it was just to make citizens aware.
no, it's
People might
good.
not be paying attention.
That's
and
why
of
it's
course
good
it
that
would
they
be-
know that
I
there's
think
something
you're
up.
right.
yeah.
I think you're right. They aren't.
No,
It's not
and
been
it
followed.
could have significant implications for this
Yeah.
town and our
Yeah.
police service, and sadly, I read the whole thing beginning to end, and a lot of what's reflected in there, they've taken the highest frequency responses and assumed that that's true for every police force in the province, which it isn't necessarily. Like, we have community policing here. They tend to say that we need to have community policing. That will be the gold standard in the
Yeah, we
future.
already have it.
Yeah, so, it's that kind of thing that we want to make sure that the citizens are aware.
Yeah.
Of it, and that, it's maybe on a bit of a slow burn, but, it's something that people need to stay up on and make their voices heard about what they think is
So I'd
right.
like to see some coordination because there's so much
Yeah.
misinformation out there.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
much.
Very much.
Okay, great. Well, that's good.
there's even a group, and I can't remember their acronyms, but the Board of Police have their group. And they're talking with their MLAs and they're taking a page report to their MLAs, sitting down, talking with the MLAs and asking the MLAs if they are aware of these changes and restrictions for rural communities.
Mhm.
And I know that two of the MLAs from the Truro area were surprised of some of the information that was not shared. And so that kind of has also started. So including your MLAs with questions and concerns is a good
Critical.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
pathway
Critical.
to moving this forward.
So we should probably, we'll have to discuss what we do in terms of dealing with RML
Yeah.
earlier
what
rather
the
than later.
consensus of the group around was they actually wanted to invite him to come and speak to people rather than to tell them what to say, but to say, you know, so that people could ask their questions, because obviously he should be the best source of information.
I'm wondering if we should send the information to him that was sent to the Attorney General.
Yeah,
That was given to the Attorney General, the material that we had agreed on, that we presented to her. Anyway, you can think about that and we
Yeah,
can.
And there might be useful information, I don't know, but there may be some additional useful information that comes out of at the intermunicipal meeting, because that's the topic of discussion, so.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We've got Juanita coming,
Yeah.
which is wonderful timing.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Thank you. Okay, anything else on policing? Oh, and the other thing is the effect on morale, talking about all this stuff when you've got 11 police departments.
Yes.
And there's a recruitment area all over and anyway, okay, there's a lot of good reasons for talking about this. Next is twinning committee with our deputy mayor.
it has been very busy lately with the twinning committee. Just moving to my notes here quickly. So we have 11 people who will be going to visit Crayon. Everybody will be funding their own everything that's not provided by the twinning committee in Rayon. With the exception of, we've been doing some fundraising because there are 2 students, and for families to support an adult to accompany and a student, it's a bit overwhelming. So there's the Canada Helps page, which we've been advertising. We've got just under 4,000, just over 3,000 dollars that will be divided between the 2 students as bursaries, and we're hoping to collect a bit more. They're making applications for a Nova Scotia, Parker Mountain Windmill
Oh, yes, the wind
grant, to see if they can get some money that way. So, and they'll
Oh, that's
be
nice.
writing up a thank you to go out in the next town crier before the 24th.
And what's the total amount that they need?
And $7,000.
Is that for both students?
Yeah, it'll be split between the 2
Yeah,
of them.
so they need 7,000.
So they're about halfway there.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. I shared it as soon as it kind of came out, and that post I shared had one of the biggest reaches that I've had recently, and had something like 50 clicks through on the link too. So I was like, that's wonderful. People are interested. So yes, if that can translate, if those clicks translated to dollars,
even
that's helpful.
$5 will help the students, yeah.
No,
So we will be going from leaving here, leaving Halifax October 14th and returning on the 25th. We have several days with the Royale Committee, and then a visit to the Pays Basque with a group called Anacadie, and it's the Association Maritime Charente de, I can't remember.
You got it.
Anyways, we, I don't know, a lot of the rest of the stuff is detail around the,
It's Maritime Acadienne Charente, you had it.
so we've been working on the details of how to get from Charles de Gaulle Airport to where we need to get the train. And then backwards, the next committee meeting will be, October 4th or 2nd, or the first week of October. Everybody has taken a topic to give 5 minutes talk on everything from history to, archaeology to architecture. So that everybody will go with a little bit of information, although the what has been planned by Rayon is very extensive in terms of history and culture and so on. So I think it's going to be a great visit. The people in Rayon have been working like crazy. She's the assistant of the mayor and the head of the committee has spent a lot of time trying restaurants and making sure we never go to the same one and that all the food is good. So we're lucky
Is it
that way.
billeting again? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Billeted.
Bill really
Except-
enjoyed that.
Except we're
Madame la
being put
Mayor.
up in a hotel.
Oh, really?
A very nice one too.
Oh, that's good.
Well, the mayor's on his own.
Oh,
so-
Yeah, he
okay.
doesn't
so I
have.
think
Yes, I
Yeah, it
understand.
would've been
Yeah,
hard
it would
for
have been
him to-
difficult, yeah. Yeah.
Anything I've missed, Amory? The only other
Oh,
interesting.
the big issue,
Oh, the present.
the stress of getting from one place to the other.
Oh, God.
Like we could be a 1 kilometer walk and you have to be able to carry everything. The trains are a certain time and there's a high-speed train and there's a low-speed train and there's tickets for everything and it has to be in the right zone. I've never seen anything more complicated in my life.
Well, when Bill went, they found that there was one leg of it that they could never sort, and so they actually got volunteers to come and drive people in
Yeah,
that
they're
leg.
Pick us up from Suja, but
We're lucky now
Is
that
it-
we have her traveling with us.
the complicated thing is Charles de Gaulle to the hotels to
Yeah.
the TGV the next day. That's gonna be but now we're gonna all be going together because previously I was
Thank
flying
God.
to Iceland and I changed my flight, so.
So now we
Where-
have a guide.
And my only other thing that I will say is on the way home, Bill got pickpocketed in the airport. Don't let that happen to you.
And that was discussed last night.
Quite seriously.
It's a big problem in
Yeah.
many parts of Paris. Like there was a guy who used to come every time I go to fly out and he'd say, I'm stuck in the airport. All I need is 40 euros and I can get back to my family and somewhere and wherever. And can you please give it to me? And after a while I said to him, you know, you ask me this every week. How do you get stuck in the airport every week? So you have to be very careful there for sure. They know there's a lot of gullible tourists. And gullible regular people too. So the only other thing is that interestingly enough, all of the documentation cannot say the name of the mayor from Orléans. It's a French regulation, I guess, so that you're not advertising his name for the.
You're not
next-
campaigning.
Campaigning,
She,
yeah.
Madame Isendik Mater said it's absolutely strict. We cannot put his name in. I guess she wanted to explain because they sent us the program and Amory's name is there, but Monsieur Marengo's name is not.
Mhm.
But they all know who he is.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody knows.
So,
Bingo.
Yeah, we'll do a report when we come back. I'm hoping the students will share their knowledge with the other students at the high school and that
If
other
we
kids will
come
be
back.
interested.
Right.
Yeah.
Will they be making any videos and things? Will the students do some?
I'm hoping so,
videos and
yeah,
Make a
yeah.
little compilation, that would be
Yeah, it'd be
wonderful.
really nice, yeah. Yeah.
The stress is
Sandy
getting-
threatened to leave Amory behind if she didn't behave better, so Amory was okay with that consequence of her behavior.
I said, okay.
And perhaps Sandy could be talked into doing maybe a couple of photos or a little video that could be posted to the Facebook while you're away. Greetings from Roya.
The French run at a pace that is unparalleled in the universe.
Oh, yes, I'm.
Yeah, so we actually built in the breaks ahead of time by reporting a day earlier so people could have rest, because there will be no rest
No.
when we get there. There'll be
It's
none.
constant,
Yeah.
go.
So,
I won't promise anything.
but
One or two.
whatever
Hello
pictures.
from.
Picture with the line, Sandy.
Maybe with the newspaper showing the date.
Proof of life.
Lost Amory again. I have no idea where I'm gonna
Pictures of
go.
Amory every day for proof of life.
Oh dear. Anyway, thank you, Sybil, because it's
Lot
just
of
been an awesome amount of work.
Yes, you're welcome. It's been fun figuring it out again.
And thanks to my husband who's made all my travel arrangements, because when he left to me, it wouldn't have got done. Okay. Planning and Heritage Advisory Committee, Councilor Myers.
Oh, just as written, nothing exciting, just a few functions carried, and we were looking at Wilfred's letter
His
to the
suggestion.
town with his recommendations for our strategic plan. We're gonna pull some things out of that would be more appropriate for the PAC committee. So we'll take a look at those items. Brainstorm.
Good. Wonderful. Yeah, I saw that in your report. Yeah. Friends of the Library. Councilor McDonald.
Just a reminder for Kim that it's actually Annapolis Valley Regional Library Board. I don't sit on Friends of the Library. They let me attend as a courtesy. The Annapolis Valley Regional Library Board meeting is tomorrow. I will have a full report for the October meeting, and I think there's a number of things on the agenda for tomorrow that will be of interest to our council for the report in October.
I am sure there
Can
will
I
be.
ask a question? Would it make more sense for us to submit the reports to the committee of the whole? Because a lot of the committee meetings happen after, like, so close to the time to the council meeting that, like,
Like today was Annapolis.
Yeah, and tomorrow is AVR.
I mean, I don't know if
But-
there's a requirement that it go to the council.
Well, that would just make your committee of the whole meeting a lot longer, so that's why they've always been on here, so it's the end of the month report. And even if they're a
I'm
month
just
late,
always a
it
month
doesn't,
behind, I don't,
yeah, it
there's.
doesn't really matter, because we have no, if there's something
If-
that
Yeah.
needs to be dealt with right away, that would just come to the table.
Okay.
But most of this is just for information only.
Yeah.
And I do like the balance, the attempt to manage the time in the meetings, like, you know.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
anything coming down
It's
the
just a
pipe, the
question.
public can see a few weeks ahead. Yeah. But no, good point, because like I had ADRL and then ERL. And now.
Come to that one too if you want.
Well, it's ADR. It's Annapolis Valley Regional. It's ADRS now.
APRS. Oh, it is gonna get confusing.
It's going to get confusing. Now, under correspondence, I will just tell you that I took leave of my senses and I took it on myself to write the required letter for the town crier competition to Mayor Nancy Davis. So that went with the town crier. A letter was required, so I just, on your behalf, said how much we value the position of town crier. It's a big marketing tool in our, and that's, and it's solidly behind her and their 150th anniversary. Excellent, okay. Now, there being no further material on our agenda, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Roger for attending in person.
Thank you, Roger.
Cindy?
Can we tell how many people are joining us online?
I can tell you.
Thank you.
How many
Mr.
hundreds?
Riddell.
How many hundreds? Currently, there's one watching live.